Hi guys, this is Shannon from Skip to My Life. On today's episode, I'll be showing you 3 adorable black and white Christmas decor projects you've never seen before, so let's get started. If you love to live an upscale life on a downsized budget, I am here for you at Skip to My Life. We're going to start with these 2 adorable little bells that I found at Dollar Tree. Now these actually come in 4 different patterns and I have linked to them down below. So if you're curious or you want to purchase these online, all you need to do is follow that link. The best thing about these bells is that they already have a pattern pre-printed on them. So if you are looking to make a unique gift or decor item, this is a very easy project. The first thing that I did was remove that trim, and then I did spray paint them with a base coat of white paint. I started with the bell, which had all the little squares on them, and I went ahead and hand painted these black squares. Now, if you wanted to save time on this part of the project, you could just go ahead and use a black Sharpie for this portion and it would be much less time consuming. If you've ever tried to paint a pattern like this where you have to tape it off and then you have to measure all the squares, you will appreciate how much easier it is to have the pattern pre-printed on the bell. The second bell had a pre-printed pattern of circles, and I thought that these circles would be a little bit more uniform, so I did go ahead and fill them in with black. But once I did that, it looked to me a little bit too Dr. Seuss or too, I don't know, it just bothered me that it wasn't uniform, and maybe it wouldn't bother you, but I had to go back and repaint it white, and then I went back with one of these little circle sponge brushes that I found at Dollar Tree, and I just made a little bit more uniform circles, but I did use the dots as kind of a guide or a pattern. Comment below and let me know which one you prefer and what you would do if you had this little bell. Is it just me? Did it just bother me that these circles weren't the same shape? Or is it something that you would prefer as well? I also painted the inside of those bells black as far as you could see. I would say it's about 2/3 of the way up. And then I'm ready for my next step. The handles have a little knob on them, which I removed, and I have seen some crafters use that to hang the bells, but I chose not to use that, so I clipped it off. And then secondly, I'm just going to use a tin pan that you would use for a serving dish. Maybe you have some of these left over from Thanksgiving. If you don't, then you can certainly buy them at Dollar Tree. But I wove that around the handle to give it a little bit more authentic metal look. Now we're not going to leave the bell handle this way. You can see that I did use a little bit of dry brush white paint to distress that black portion of the bell. And we're going to do the same thing with this metal handle. After I went over the metal handle with the white paint, I went back with some gray chalk paint and I just dry brushed it very lightly to give that metal handle a little bit of an aged look. If you're enjoying this video, please click the like thumbs up button, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. We have so much fun here at Skip to My Life, and I also love reading your comments. I promise I read every single one. Well, you probably guessed what the next step is. We're going to join those 2 rings together to attach the bells to each other. I just joined the 2 bells together with a little bit of hot glue, and now I'm going to add an accent of a bright cherry red bow. This really sets off that black and white so nicely. I started by making a regular bow in red, and then I added a little black accent bow, and these are ribbons I had in my stash. I think the black one is actually from a dress that I had with a belt that I didn't use, so you can just use whatever bits and bobs you have. I started by making this bow nice and fluffy, and you'll see in the end, I ended up cutting it into a little bit different shape, so watch for that. This greenery with the red berries comes from Dollar Tree, and I have to tell you, I am so impressed with it. It rivals anything that you would see from a craft store for many times the price. And I just added, I think it was 6 pieces of those sprigs up and down that center. One thing I love about black and white Christmas decor is you can pair it with a complementary color like red or pink or any bright color you'd like, and it just makes such a statement. Our second black and white project is going to be a little Christmas village, and we're going to turn these Dollar Tree cottages into a buffalo check Christmas village. To start, I just spray painted all of those white, and you will see that I'm using 4 cottages to start with, and I ended up with just 3. Next, I took some buffalo check gift wrap that I purchased from Tuesday Morning, but I've seen this also at Dollar Tree and many other stores. I cut it into a smaller shape, and then I just traced it with my fingers so I could see exactly where to cut on that paper to make the template to cover that little house. These houses have a spot for an electric tea light to go inside. There is a warning on the bottom of the house not to use a regular flame. The houses are plastic and they will melt. If you get a flame, it's a fire hazard. So make sure you use an electric tea light. You're also going to want to be careful to cut out those window shapes if you decide to use that electric tea light so that you can really see the cozy light coming through the windows of your little homes. This is a great project for those of you who are detail-oriented or are looking for some type of a mental diversion from all the crazy stuff going on around us. I will tell you that when I was working on these houses, there was nothing else on my mind, and it was such a nice little welcome break from all the 2020 wild stuff that's been going on. Am I right? After I'd cut out each piece of paper, I used Mod Podge to glue them on, and I did put a nice layer of that Mod Podge over the top and let it dry. And then I went back with a very generous layer of regular school glue and used it to attach this glitter. Now, I purchased the glitter at Walmart, and I put that on the roof as well as all 4 sides of the house. Next, I'm going to use this faux snow to create even more of that snowy effect on the roof of the house. And I just actually dripped this school glue all over that roof to make it look like the snow had just fallen on the peak of the house. Each of the projects I'm showing to you today is extremely budget friendly. So if you're looking for an adorable gift for someone, but you just don't want to break the bank, these would be the perfect projects to get crafting on. Dollar Tree sells votive candles too for $1, and this is what they look like. They come with a battery, so I think it's a pretty nice budget-friendly item. And then you'll see my finished project here. Don't you kind of wish that you could just live in this adorable little snow village? And here's what the houses look like with the lights dimmed. You can see it looks like a crackling fire in the fireplace. I can just imagine the people in this village all curled up. For this third project, I used a plate from Walmart. Now, these plates sell for 50 cents. They're plastic. They're very sturdy. I've used them in some other videos, and I will link to those below. And the second item I used was a candle stand from Dollar Tree. So I'm just gluing both of those together. I originally glued these together with a glue gun, but I found that super glue gel worked a lot better. So if I were you, I would not bother with the glue gun. Just go ahead and use a super glue gel and let that dry for several hours. Next, I spray painted with the Walmart brand spray paint that's under $1. You do not need a high quality spray paint for this project. We're going to next create a marbled effect. So you can see that the spray paint is a little uneven on my surface, and that is not going to matter at all. To make what looks like marbled veins, I just used white acrylic paint, and I dipped a little feather in that paint and just started free forming some lines on that platter. If you need some inspiration for this, just Google black marble images on your computer and you'll see a lot of different marble designs. Now, I'm going to tell you all that this is one of those projects where you're going to have faith in me, because it's going to look a little strange and you're going to think this is not turning out for her. But trust me, in the end, I'm going to pull this one together and you're going to see a masterpiece. You can see that I just took a little sea sponge, dipped it in some water, and I went over that white paint to make it look a little bit less defined. The last step is just trial and error. And remember, the stakes are low. You have not spent much money at all, so if you just do not like the design you have, you can always spray paint it and start over. I went back with a dry tissue and I just dabbed at some of that paint that I thought was a little too thick, and repeated this process again and again until I was really happy with the look. And you can see that I created some new veins that are a little bit more defined, but make sure that you also take care of the underside and the stem of that platter. The finishing touch is really important, and I always use this Rust-Oleum acrylic cover to seal projects like this. You can see that it really reflects light and it looks a little bit more like marble this way. My daughter loves a more modern look, and so this is going to be a Christmas present for her. I hope she isn't watching this episode. I was so happy with the way it turned out, and I think it would be beautiful to hold some candles, or maybe for some cheese and crackers or a little cake. So the sky is really the limit with this project, and no one's gonna know that it cost you less than $5 to create. Here are our final 3 black and white Christmas projects, and I hope you received some inspiration. Don't forget to like the video and please subscribe. I would love to get to know you better. Don't forget, comment below and let me know which one of these 3 projects was your absolute favorite. And please subscribe to my channel. I would love to come back and get to know you even better. Until next time, this is Shannon from Skip to My Life. Make it a great day.